Okay, welcome back, everyone. And I just wanted to do a very short clip today, just a bonus sort of episode. Not really an episode, but just something an extra, like those DVD extras or the extras on the Blu-ray. And very recently, one of my guests. Oh, by the way, I have to introduce the great Szymon Jakubowski, of course, one of the experts on improvisation. Szymon, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm very well. Thank you, Nikhil, for
It's
invitation.
great to
Thank
have
you.
you back. I'm
Yeah.
still thinking about how great your episode was and your improvisations. It was one of those. The really started the. You were like the start of my 2023 career again. To start,
Yeah, that's true. That was in
so
January. Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
was in January, yeah, and here we are in August. But I wanted to talk about another guest that I had on quite recently, and this is of course Ioana Ilie, and she actually recorded. I'm going to share it here on the screen, an improvisation that I had recommended. So basically, on her channel, which I think everyone should subscribe to, it's just a really good improvisation channel. She actually asked for a request, like, give me some ideas and I will improvise something. And so I just put a Bible verse in the comment section, and she said, okay. And then fast forward maybe some time, and she produces this wonderful video that I encourage. Maybe Shimon, why don't I just play a little bit here, just a little bit, just so people
Mhm.
can understand. You've heard it, but let's just play a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
section here,
Okay.
so for people can hear it. Here we go. Okay, let me just stop it there. It's wonderful. So let me just stop it there. And well, first of all, I think I've never had anyone dedicate an improvisation to me. So this, I mean, I'm just very thrilled that that happened in the first place. Very cool. I'd say very cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Uh,
Yeah.
um, and I also wanted to bring on an expert. So Shimon is, of course, someone I admire greatly, a great improviser himself. And Shimon, you heard this improvisation. I am absolutely thrilled by it. I think it's beautiful, just really wonderful. I want to bring up the verse itself. So the verse that I brought, I think this is. Let me just go to
Mhm.
chapter 16. So it's just to set the. I mean, it's one of my favorite verses. I really like this verse from the Bible. It's the book of John, the fourth gospel, and it's very close to the end of the gospel. It's the 16th chapter. It's almost I think it's the last discourse to the disciples, and then he's going to go through his passion. And I always loved it because it was and see if we just let me highlight this last part. These things I have spoken to you, and this is at the end of his ministry. He had been performing miracles, he'd been doing amazing things, he'd been healing people, teaching the word of God, and this was his final discourse. In these things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you shall have distress, but have confidence. I have overcome the world. And I just thought that was so powerful. And so it's just a quote that I like, and I just liked it. And I thought, why not just, it could be a good theme. And historically, right? I mean, in classical music, people have been, of course, setting text to, I mean, this is the whole church industry for the last couple of hundred years before the modern age. So if we can talk about her improvisation, I'm just going to let it play in the background silently.
Mhm.
She took a slow tempo to it. It was very beautiful, and it was it's 5 minutes in length, and it's just a very beautiful sort of thing. And it's interesting because it's not, I mean, a major key. It's in a minor key, and for me, distress. Because now we have these crises of mental health. Everyone has a lot of depression. and there's a lot of strife in the world. I mean, for the last couple of years, it's been really crazy. And it's interesting, as somebody who's creative, Shimon, what do you think, like how the choices that she made to improvise what she produced? Why don't you give a comment on what you think? Because I think it's really interesting of the choices she made, and the style, the genre, the tempo. But why don't you go ahead? What are your first initial impressions?
Yeah, so first I would say for me it's also amazing improvisation, very beautiful improvisation, and Joanna, she's really very, very good improviser. I have to say it's not easy to play about short text, such
Yeah.
beautiful music. Yeah? So I can only speak about how I am doing, and
Mm,
I think maybe she's doing similar because I know a lot of improvisers are thinking very similar.
mm,
So I would speak how I see it. And if you have very short text, for example, this beautiful sentence, and it's
right.
very strong, it's very deep, you have to decide um, which words, which characters, which affects are very important to you. And first, this first part is this I said to you. Can you read it one more time? The beginning.
These things I have spoken to
Okay. Yeah.
you. Yeah.
This thing I've spoken to you. This is like uh, opening. So
Mm,
I think at the beginning of this improvisation was something with strong chords, like.
mm,
And so I can make it the same way, but
mm,
this was like introduction, and
mm.
these words also like an introduction. I think there was some for me what's a little bit similarity to second Rhapsody of Franz Liszt
Mm.
beginning. So it was like in character, strong, romantic, and
Mm.
very, how I would say, powerful. I have some feeling of this, how to say, these movies like Ben Hur movie from
Yeah, yeah.
late 50s. So this
Right,
was
right.
like a little bit film kind
Mm.
of film music. But then comes this sorrow, this how distress,
The
yeah,
word distress, yes.
yeah, distress, the word, yeah. So it's for me also like a little bit to say to show the pain, to show this way,
Mm,
also maybe in the meaning of Jesus Christ, because he will be also suffering for us and so on.
right.
So I thought this was very good, very nice and beautiful, I would say also meditative rhythm, very slowly in minor, and also like a lot of seven chords, like
Mm.
and it was for me a little bit like a middle part of a baroque concerto. You
Yes,
know,
yeah,
you have,
like yeah, that adagio or Dante
yeah,
part,
yeah,
right?
this was typical
Yeah.
adagio from maybe Bach Marcello,
Mm.
D minor concerto. This is like this. And so it was something different, yes, but
Mm.
in the character, in the style, a little bit this direction.
Mm.
And then there was also some moments uh, with she play also some strong chords, like I can make it, but there was something like Beethoven pathetic, like something like this. I tried to make it. This strong chords,
Mm.
ta-tam, ta-tam, ta-tam. It was also like very nice commentary.
Mm.
So I would say also to this word sorrow. Uh, so yes, indeed, it should be like this.
No,
And
you said
then
something interesting, Shimon. Let me
yes,
I
yeah,
just wanted to jump
yeah,
in because you said it quite early and then you moved on, which I thought was very interesting. You said it's difficult with a short text
yes.
to improvise. So why did you say there's a difficulty with short texts?
Because you have to concentrate very on some special words on, and you have only one chance to get how to say, to get the main point of this. Because if we can say these 5 minutes were mostly like in minor, So for me, it will be in the center. There is this sorrow, this distress, yes. But there is also, I will overcome at the end, overcome the world. So overcome. So if you have more time, if you want to improvise more, you can also make 3 parts of improvisation, like this distress, but then the last part is I will overcome, and then you can make a final, like also kind
Kind of
of
a triumphant
happy end music,
Yeah.
But I think this is not possible to okay. I would do also something shorter, like 5 minutes, because it's short sentence. And I would like to say, where is your center? So is the center word distress, or is the center this overcome? So my hopeness, to be hopefully that everything ends well, or like to focus on, oh, this is really hard. The word here is hard, and I have to struggle with it.
Yeah.
So, and it depends on listeners, because some people will choose this. Yeah, it's true. It's really very depressive. But some listeners, because Ioana, she was also playing very hopefully moments. So there is also like dark and bright. So dark and bright moments, like major chords, like, so it was very hopeful. So I found this, how to say, this still changing between. We have some moments also in life, there's a lot of sorrow, a lot of problems, but we have also nice moments. We have also hope. Okay, we're going further and further. So I think it was very, very nice. It is very nice improvisation.
Right.
Very, very good improvisation.
Can I ask, if you were to take this, so you were explaining that, if you wanted to do something different now that she's done an improvisation, let's say I say, Szymon, now I need you to do something as well, same thing, but you have to do it differently. How would you do it differently?
Wow, it's very difficult, very difficult task. Because if you have something in ear, this is the same with composition. If you have some composition and there is some text and so on, and someone said, okay, try to make to this text another music. It is, you have still in ear this character. For example, Bach Passions, St. John Passion. This is. I think it's not possible to make another music if you one time, if you heard it only one time. But I would go also, I think, in very similar direction, like adagio type of music. Yes. Maybe I will start. I would concentrate on this word. I will overcome, and with hope, with this kind of, and I don't know. I have to try it to.
For some practical just suggestions, now let's talk about like specifics. I loved when you were playing some excerpts, like some ideas that you saw in her playing. For people who want to try and just jump in, like what would you suggest? Like what kind of harmonies, what kind of ideas are very simple and yet very effective?
So if you want to have this kind of,
and we'll keep it to the meditative, sort of gentle adagio sort of idea.
Yeah. I wanted to say it because there are some very good, very good examples you can already use. The one I've played already, this is this middle part from, like, it is falling fifth sequence, no?
Yeah.
So if our listeners are starting now, I would recommend to start with falling fifths, like D minor, and it was 2 minor chords and then 2 major chords. So it is like from feeling
very nice.
something between, a little bit sad, a little bit hope is inside of it. So I will recommend. This is very easy. You have really like, This is D, G, C,
Yeah.
F, B, and so on, and 777 in thorough
Now
bass.
that your right hand, the right hand that you were using to create melodic ideas, do you get that from the chord tones, or how do you, guitarists say they like to noodle, as they say, they like to noodle on
Okay.
me. But like
It-
if you have a progression like falling
Mhm.
fifths, as you were saying, how do you create a melody or play around with notes from the chord, or what's your idea for
Mhm.
that?
Okay, so now it was copy paste. I took really note for note from Bach Marcello.
Yeah.
He's doing at the beginning D minor 7,
Mm-hmm.
D, F, A, C, and then pause. So like he's making rising, he's making tension, building tension, and then a moment. If there's time to relax, I love it. It's very simple, but it works.
You're right.
And the same from C. And also like a mordant, yes. So this ornament. One more time. So every time the same. So you can take a broken chords, yes. But you can go also with a scale. If you want to improvise with your own ideas, you have two choices: scale or line, or
Mhm.
chord, broken chord. I would try to make something similar.
Okay.
No chords. Yeah. So it was very similar,
Beautiful. Really
but something
wonderful.
different because I have no plan. So I'm not going every time with the same structure. So it sounds like improvisation, not like a composition.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but it's really for people which are starting now, which are really which want to improvise with some simple methods, simple elements. I think this is really very good one. Yeah,
So
like falling fifths and line or broken chord.
so final comments, Shimon. Final
Okay.
comments. What do you think of the whole thing, and what were your final impressions of this?
My final impression is amazing. It's the highest level of the music and how I would say musicianship, or like of it's the highest level of being musician and being composer in one, like interpreting and composing, live composing into one moment, and beautiful structures, ideas, and also this affect. It's every time in the highest and how to say highest level, and still how to say touching the heart. And for me, this is most important thing. You can analyze everything, but if it doesn't touch your heart, it's not good. And this was the opposite. It was very touching, very also how to say painting. The music paint also what you see, or if you are hearing this text, if you are in, for example, in the church, and someone plays music like this to this text, this is like most beautiful moment. So yeah, I like it very much.
Well, I'm glad I got your take on this because you're an expert too, and I just wanted someone who is good at improvisation to comment on this dedication. And if I scroll down, actually, she said, I have never had to improvise on a quote like this before. I sure hope my video does the words justice they deserve. Well, I enjoyed it very much, Ioana, and thank you so much, Szymon, for coming on and sharing your expertise. I hope Ioana. I'm going to talk to her on Monday, and I'm going to give her my another take, and
Okay.
let's see what she says about what. I'll be interested to hear what she says about your comments. That'll be good. And there's not enough improvisers, especially in the classical music now. So I think you guys are like gems, like very precious stones. So I think it's really wonderful that we have stuff like this. And by the way, so I encourage everyone not only check out, so definitely Ioana's YouTube channel, but of course check out the great Szymon. Jakubowski, he's got an incredible channel. And I have to comment, you've been uploading some really nice tutorials recently. I have been watching them. So, I mean, really nice videos. I mean, this is like, people sometimes comment on my channel. They say, this is like a gold mine, all these interviews. Well, your channel is really like a gold mine. There's so much practical stuff here
Thank you.
that
Thank
I
you, Nikhil.
really
Yeah,
encourage people
Thank
to
you.
subscribe. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. And so
Thank
the
you.
great
Thank you, Nikhil. I
Szymon
do my best.
Jakubowski.
Thank you. Thank you very
Fantastic.
much. Thank you, Nikhil.
To
Thank you.
talk to
Bye-bye.
you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.